Take one, folks. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. Before we do the usual disclaimers, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by Neuroclastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened Neuroclastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. Neuroclastic refused, so folks, you know the drill. Please read the article, share on all your social media. Also included is Neuroclastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever does actually see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. Will we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys? You're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please make sure to go ahead and utilize your headphones. Trigger warning 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is very much advised. Another trigger warning. What we are about to read comes specifically from those parents that I like to call, remember what I told you guys last night, it generally falls in one of two categories. They're the true believers, and then there's the complete selfish, narcissistic POSs who only had children as a status symbol, and when it turns out their kid wasn't their perfect little two-dimensional dream, they kick the can down the road, and they're afraid that if the JRC doesn't get to do their insanity because of the gaslighting by the JRC, they are desperately trying to keep their kids on the devices so that the school would keep them there, so that, you know, they don't have to do something along the lines such as, oh, I don't know, parent. Yeah, I've got no forgiveness or mercy in my soul left for far too many people because of this case. I'm just saying. So we're going to read a whole lot of gaslighting. And what's even worse, it's the same gaslighting BS that we have been dealing with since literally the inception of the school's existence. It's going to be all the same comments, all the same bad faith arguments, all the same. We think that this clinical study from the 1970s should be found just as valid and as important as data coming out with the alternative programs, also known as the programs used by everyone else, that it should be considered just as important as a study with those methods that came out yesterday, 2 weeks ago. Hell, I'll be generous, 10 years ago. So just be prepared for that. Now, I had to paraphrase yesterday because while I was filming it from the laptop, technical issues, folks. I don't know what to tell you. It's a sad day when a Gen X can sit here and tell you that their mother knows better how to use this type of stuff than ourselves, but what can you do, right? Okay, so some of this we went over last night. We went into the introduction. We paraphrased some of that first paragraph, kind of stopped in the middle of it because one can only handle so much of the JRC Kool-Aid drinking insanity before, going insane yourselves. But yeah, let's get back to where we were there. They're demanding another hearing to go over all the exact same information and have yet to reveal to us whether they are actually going to be introducing in more new evidence that will in some way miraculously back their claim or not, which to me would be the only reason why you would feel a need to have another hearing outside of playing for time. But anyways, just be prepared for the headaches. These are going to be the same arguments that we've dismantled and dismantled and dismantled into infinity on this channel. All right. Now, where we left off yesterday, despite this inevitable variability in the patient population, the common thread amongst these 55 individuals is that they suffer from terrible, life-threatening disorders, and they have tried every treatment method that could be tried at the best facilities in the country, and nothing else has worked. Bullshit. Bullshit. That is a lie. We all know it's a lie. Okay? First of all, let's start with life-threatening. As a person who is autistic and 40 years old, my autism and the fact that I have that diagnosis has not in any way, shape, or form whatsoever put my life in any form of danger. Okay? At all. Nor has the fact that I'm autistic caused any danger to the people around me. I know situations that can happen. It was not the case with myself as I got older. That was more when I was younger, when the more violent tendencies came out. But at the end of the day, I was more of a threat to myself than I was to everyone else. And where those behaviors that were coming out of me, those triggers, was because I was being horrifically abused at the time. Therefore, as an autistic who was being horrifically abused, I had a very stereotypical autistic reaction to that abuse that leads self-injury, destruction of property, kicking the offender in the nads repeatedly. You get where I'm going here, right? My diagnosis is not threatening. What people use my diagnosis for in regards to forcing us into unsafe so-called treatment programs, now those are in all actuality life-threatening. And we know this because, JRC, it was your very program that has ended the lives of 6 of your students. And we have all the documentation to back that up. So please, stop with the gaslighting. Autism doesn't kill people. people kill people. I'm tired of that constantly being stereotyped. In particular because the media has caught on, took it and ran, and now every single time there is a school shooting, a college shooting, whatever, inevitably someone at some point will say, well, they could have been autistic. Thanks for that, mainstream medical media. Truly, thank you. As if we didn't already have a massive target already on our backs. You know, great for when you get into the workforce. Anyways, we know that's a lie because the FDA did full reviews on the kids that go there. And we know for a fact that a proper, full functional behavioral assessment was never conducted with those students at all. You can't go and say that you've tried everything with some of the best facilities in the country when you're flying blind. Okay? You could send me down, when I was a kid, down to Riverdale. That's clear on the other side of town. I think it's close to I-70. One of the best rated schools for autistic folks in the United States. Okay? With that school there. If I, before entry into that school and treatment program, did not have a full functional behavioral assessment done beforehand, it's pinning the tail on the donkey when you're deaf, blind. I don't know, lost all notion of sensory. Okay? It doesn't work because the programs that school may specialize in may be things that your kid does not need help with. Therefore, very obviously, the behaviors are not going away because the triggers that are causing those behaviors to crop up are not being dealt with at that school because it specializes in a different area. That's why I emphasize our treatment programs should never be cookie cutter. And I'm sorry, JRC, you can tell me you're not cookie cutter all you want to, but all of us on this channel who have reviewed your insanity know that is a bald-faced lie. Okay? But the reasons that we torture them is different. Isn't that making it individualized? No. And the fact that they even try to make that argument makes me have a very strong urge to walk to that wall, just right over there, and slam my head into the wall repeatedly, hopefully long enough to knock myself out so I no longer have to deal with this visceral level of complete, utter, violent stupidity. That's the word. All right. Can't deal with it, kids. Can't do it. You can't say you've tried every single treatment and nothing works when a full functional behavioral assessment, the very first goddamn thing that should be done before you get into any type of program or treatment, if you don't do that first, you're flying blind. You're literally just throwing your kid from program to program, and I don't know, saying a Hail Mary hoping that one of them sticks. That's why those programs are failing them, because their particular issues is not what that school specializes in. That's why full functional behavioral assessments are so goddamn important. You can throw me into a whole bunch of schools, residential programs, community-based programs, and they can have the highest ratings in the country. But if a full functional behavioral assessment is not done first, I would expect to fail at every school. Because those schools may not address the things that I need addressed. Basic Logic 101. But their lives have been changed, enriched, and lengthened. Parents, you only say that because you see what the JRC tells you to see. And a lot of us, unfortunately, especially with my age group of autistics, force ourselves to learn how to mask as a survival trait. And we will show you exactly what you want to see long enough so that you'll leave us the fuck alone. But much like an actor can't stay in character forever, it's exhausting. We can't mask forever with no break, no let up. Okay? You're going to get exhausted. The mask is going to drop. And from what we know in regards to the JRC, you're thrown back all the way back to square one again. And then the cycle continues to repeat itself because the triggers that are causing that behavior are not being addressed. And as a matter of fact, you folks don't even know what those triggers are that need to be addressed so that the behavior can subside. It's not going to get better. It's just going to be a never-ending circle of suck that they're going to be spinning through forever until finally somebody who knows what they're doing intervenes and get them that full functional behavioral assessment that should have been done in the first place before any type of school, residential, or community-based program is even being discussed. The steps are what they are for a reason. You can't just skip one set and expect that everything's going to work in your favor. And I'm tired of saying it. I've said it so many times. So many times. Fine, I'll give you an example. I went through horrific things as a kid. I try not to go into details. I wore a mask every single goddamn day. Okay? You wouldn't know it. Okay? Because I showed the outside world what they wanted to see. I tried to be social. I was always good in class. Always had great relationships with the teachers. I hid it behind a mask. An adult who wouldn't know any better would say during that time that I was quiet and shy, but I looked like a good happy student. I wasn't. I was masking. Like many of us who've been abused, who started masking earlier than even most of us do. Okay? But we can prove. I mean, look at them. Look at them showing you what you want to see. Yes, Karen. I know. I was your child. Okay? But I would know if they're faking. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Okay? So that was a whole load of bullshit. You can't say you tried everything and everything failed, therefore we need to stick to torture, when the steps that were necessary in order to get your kid into the treatment program that was going to be the best for them were not taken. Therefore, you say, but these are some of the best schools in the country. It doesn't matter. You could be the best autistic school in the whole of planet Earth. It means nothing without that full functional behavioral assessment being done. Period, period, period. I'm done having the damn conversation. Someone get me a bullhorn. All right, folks. I said I was going to go into another paragraph, but obviously, speaking of triggers, I'm being very triggered by their out and out bald faced lies and their willful, hateful ignorance. So I'm going to go ahead and get this closed out for tonight, folks. All right, we don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please, if you could, don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. And if you can see my lights finally, folks, that is because new computer. I get to keep the work monitors. Thing is, with that the lights, the way it scoops back there by the basket, the reason why that's not fixed is because I am not tall. And that bookshelf is ridiculously heavy. I would love, the dream is to get LED strips that actually go higher around where the actual edges of the ceiling are. But yeah, that TV center is ridiculously heavy. The bookshelves too. No. Some things I'm just a wee bit lazy on. But anyways, good night, you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.